Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of the Fifth Draft. I'm Hyde, and with me as always is Colton.
What's up, guys?
And welcome back to this week. We got a little something kind of fun planned tonight, but first let's kick it off. Colton, what have you been doing this week?
We're doing that thing that Matt, who you met last week on the podcast, a game a week, and this one, I think Hyde can agree with me, is not going to really be what we wanted, and we'll go back to Minecraft, which was last week, because we've been playing Farming Simulator 2019, or we played a day of it.
Air quotes, playing. We
Yeah.
definitely just grabbed a bunch of tractors, rammed into each other a bunch, and then got them all stuck in a ravine. So,
Which,
you know.
I honestly can't say that I would want to really do much more than that. Like, after playing that little bit, it sounds like Euro Trucker or Trucking Across America, or whatever. It's just too real and not fun enough for me.
Well, I think it's not real enough because I was standing on top of a tractor while Seamus was driving it, and it didn't take me with him.
True, and like what humans can run like 90 miles an hour in that game.
I was definitely catching up to a car I was chasing because I was trying to get it to hit me, but it wouldn't hit me. And I ended up jumping over the car, so not super realistic.
It's like Smallville version of farming.
They could have either made it less realistic and make it more fun, or make it even more realistic and make it fun.
Yeah,
It also doesn't help that we have very little interest in actual farming.
True. I mean, I would say what would be like a out of 10. What score would you give it?
I mean, I give it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of, yeah. I was honestly gonna say 7, but even that was pretty high. I was on the phone for like 90% of playing, and it was pretty bad. Yeah, I'd say 5. Well, I'll drop it down to 5. I can see why it was free on Epic Games.
Well, I mean, like the only other time I've ever seen anyone enjoy it was from a group on YouTube called Node. The very first very first video on their channel was them playing that, and the whole thing they were doing was just taking every tractor you could get and trying to make a giant tractor pile.
Which we basically did in the ravine.
Yeah. So we had a water element. They did not. Ours had better feng shui.
Ours was because one of our friends is an idiot.
Well, I mean, I followed up and was also an idiot because he's like, hey, help me get unstuck from this waterfall. So I said, okay. So I took my tractor over there, didn't realize it was a fucking ravine, and got my tractor stuck.
Well, and then after that point, it was we just rammed ourselves into the gorge. So we've been playing that, but I'm also playing Legend of Zelda, like I've been saying the last couple weeks. Still progressing now. I found out I'm farther than Matt in it. I'm not even really that far.
Have you done any of the Divine Beasts yet?
No. I'm slowly making my way and finishing the dungeons as I come up to them. To the first, after you get the paraglider, like you go talk to that lady, or talk to somebody at the very, very beginning of the game. But I'm going very slow.
I would recommend just doing one of them, like as early as possible, and that's the bird one in the top left corner of the map.
Is there a reason for that?
It helps you get around a lot because you get special abilities after defeating all the dungeons.
Oh, okay.
The one you get from that one is extraordinarily useful.
Okay.
I guess they're all super useful, well, except for the camel one.
And then in true my fashion, bought a game before I'm ready to play it, but I just wanted to buy it, so I got Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So
I've never played a Fire Emblem game, just the mobile one on the phone.
Okay, I haven't played that. One of my favorite games growing up for the Game Boy Advance was the... Oh man, I gotta look it up. It was Fire Emblem. I don't know if it was one of the original ones, but I played it like 3 times through, and every time that I played it, I tried to, or I played it first time for the story, and then the second time I played it trying not to have any of my characters die, which was, is it just Fire Emblem? Oh, it's just Fire Emblem. It's
Just OG Fire Emblem.
The Blazing Blade. It came out in 1990, so the year I was born. But it's one of those games that you can get, play it via ROM. I actually might be able to play it on the Switch. I would recommend playing that. The Fire Emblem games for turn-based games, if you enjoy that, are fantastic.
I've been meaning to check it out. I just haven't really taken the time to do it.
Fair. What about you, Hyde? What have you been playing this week?
Well, other than our game a week thing, I have been going through and playing Resident Evil Remake for the first Resident Evil. Because I've actually never played the first. Well, okay, I've never beaten the first one before. I actually had encounter with that game when I was really young and didn't realize it. Where I was at one of my uncle's houses and he had a PlayStation, and I was just sort of in the room by myself and was just playing as many games as I could because I didn't have a PlayStation. I was like, oh, I gotta play it all. I just threw it a random game, and there's a cutscene with a dude eating another dude, and the dude got up and killed and ate my dude. And I freaked out, took the game out, played a different one, and had a nightmare like a week later about it. Years later, found out it was Resident Evil.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I've been playing the HD version of that. Which is,
Does it bring
fun.
the memories back?
Well, now that, I'm not 5. Not really. I'm also a big fan of the Resident Evil franchise. So
all right. Fair enough. My movie that was that for me was Jurassic Park. That's the one that I was for years I was scared to go to sleep because of dinosaurs were going to kill me.
My cousins had a very similar thing with that movie when they were young. So
interesting. I mean,
yeah.
I think a lot of people do, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't watch Jurassic Park until I was like a decent amount older, and I was like, cool, dinosaurs! Which, I mean, I guess you were too, but I don't know, it didn't scare me.
I mean, I did, and then I was like super scared, and then I came back into it and was scared again. So, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But that's the game that or the movie that I was scared to grow up and watch. Anything else?
That's been about it for me lately.
It's crazy. Like, a week is a significant amount of time if you think about it, but in actuality, like a week goes by and we're just like, man, I'm not really playing much. Like, you actually need this to be a full-time job to play video games a decent amount.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have actual full-time jobs and then trying to play video games on the side, not much progress happens.
Yeah, right. Like 5 minutes before bed every night.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should just get right into it, right?
All right.
Get into this.
Well, yeah, so tonight, what we're going to do is we found a list on ranker.com of, it is a list of the top 60, or 60, not 60, top 60 nerdiest things that will never be cool. So, big question when we go through this. Do you want to start at number 60 and work our way up?
We can. I was thinking number 60 is actually really funny. So some of these don't make sense anymore comparatively to, I think, when this list came out. So I was thinking that we could not only just go through the list and see if it should be there or even on the list, or if it's just something that takes like being a nerd too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that being said, I can't find where this list, or a date for when this list was published.
Well, yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah,
anyway, so Do you want to start this off at number 60 or?
Sure, I'll do number 6. I mean, do you really want to do all 60? And we'll go quick. Because
Yeah,
I
we
think
don't have to
60
take too
doesn't
long.
really even count. It's
Yeah,
debating.
60 does not count.
Debating isn't a nerdy thing. It's just debating. And at this point, everybody does it.
Everyone does it. Just because nerds debate over which captain in Star Trek is the best doesn't mean people don't debate regularly, like in
Yeah.
politics.
Which is happening.
Oh, real
right
quick,
now.
something I forgot to mention. So I talked about Star Trek 2 episodes ago. Literally 2 days afterwards, the Space Force emblem was released, and it's almost exactly like the Star Trek logo.
Of course it is.
Like, almost exactly.
I wonder where they got that from.
I wonder where.
I'm going to actually do the next two because they're not nerdy at all either. 59 to 58 are cartoons and Doctor Who.
Well, I put a hold on saying Doctor Who's not that nerdy. There's like I watched a lot of I watched a decent amount of Doctor Who, and like, I don't know, that fan base is pretty rabid.
True.
And
I guess I considered it as like a more of a just like an outsider. Like if you know what most nerds know what Doctor Who is, but I don't know if I guess maybe in your experience, as you're saying, they're actually a pretty rabid.
Well, I don't associate with fan bases mostly anymore. Like, not because of the Doctor Who fan bases, but like I've seen what a fan base is like from the inside, and there's some decent horror stories of Doctor Who fandoms. So
fair enough. Do you want to get the next three?
All right, so the next three are H.P. Lovecraft, the New York Times crossword puzzle, and Sherlock Holmes.
So,
Colt, have you read any Lovecraft stories?
No, I actually clicked into his thing to see what he was more about. And is he the Cthulhu guy? It looks like.
Yeah, he's the guy who came up with Cthulhu.
I don't. I think in today's society, that's why I was thinking that this list is old, because in today's society, that's kind of more. Maybe I'm just really nerdy.
Well, like,
I mean, because South Park did a Cthulhu thing.
Yeah, but like, there's still a lot of people who are super into the Cthulhu mythos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, his books are pretty. I've only read like, well, okay, I don't read. I listen to audiobooks of a couple of them. They're pretty good.
Okay. I mean, I guess
I'm good.
The New York Times, I'd say that
there's some fucking dedicated crossword nerds.
Yeah.
Like, I know the New York Times crossword is like really popular thing to do, but there's some dedicated fucking crossword nerds. We actually watched a fucking documentary about it in an English class when I was in middle school, and there's some fucking hardcore crossword nerds.
I'd say, to me personally, this is the first one on the list that I would say is probably either the most nerdy, or if you're that dedicated to it, then it's taking it a little far. Whereas Sherlock Holmes, the next up, is because of Cumberbatch and because of Robert Downey Jr. I think it's more mainstream now.
Well, I mean, so like Sherlock Holmes has a similar fan base to Doctor Who, so like they call it like the Who-lock fans. Like, it is not that nerdy, but I think Benedict Cumberbatch does add a lot of the nerd factor to it.
Okay. The next three that we have, just because there's 50 on this list, just trying to go quicker. Nerd glasses, playing pinball, and chess. I think nerd glasses is a style now.
Yeah, nerd glasses doesn't deserve to be on this list. And as someone who was in chess club in high school, I am offended that it's on this list.
Not only that, but the person who's like the best in the world right now is like, he's not that old. He's like
Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, he's making it cool.
Yeah, he's like mid-30s from like Norway or Sweden.
Yeah, and playing pinball, now this is like no longer nerdy because like a bunch of barcades are coming up now.
Yeah,
and that's like a
pinball's definitely come back around to being super cool again.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the next few. All right. So we have ping pong, progressive rock, and being good at math.
Well, do you really think ping pong's nerdy?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, same.
But again, I've never. The most exposure I've had to like competitive ping pong was what was that ping pong movie where it was like it was a comedy. George
Oh,
Lopez was in it, and
it's not Blades
I
of
can't think of his
Steel.
name.
Was it Blades of Steel?
Balls of Steel.
Balls of Steel. Yeah.
Yeah, ping pong.
I can't even
As
think of what progressive rock is. I'm trying to Google it, and it's just.
oh, let's just look up.
I mean, it sure as heck ain't Kids Trap.
Kids. Okay, so here's some bands that are considered progressive rock. There's King Crimson, which I listened to a little bit. Pink Floyd. Rush. Yes. Emerson Lake Palmer. Okay,
Those are
yeah.
considered nerdy?
Oh, I mean, it's not the hit music today.
True, but Rush was huge.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Fuck, what's his name?
Neil Peart.
Yeah. I
And
might make a bad time with names tonight.
I think being good at math doesn't count because that's kind of like maybe if this is a list done by high schoolers, then okay. But
I mean, like, math is really important. Learn how to do math.
yeah,
Math can save a lot of problems. And
uh,
I wish I did my math when I was making something in Minecraft because I did all the math out, had it all planned out, and then threw that math away when I was making it.
ooh.
Yeah, I was really mad at myself because I just forgot all the math I did.
The next, yeah, math helps. Just learn math, people.
Kids, do your math homework.
I'm gonna do the next like 4, basically 5. Juggling, riding a unicycle, overalls, fantasy football, and the Disc World Series. So, just to even start, we don't need to have a conversation about fantasy football. That is so mainstream at this point.
It's super mainstream, but I had this conversation with someone at work yesterday because we're talking about a coworker of ours who's very nerdy, but is also super into sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, look, sports people are fucking nerds. It just depends what they're being nerds about.
I mean, it's true because isn't like everything about sports analytics?
Yeah, analytics, stats, it's all nerd shit. It's just sports are cool. And then you just bring nerd shit into it and make fantasy football.
True. Overalls, that's a farming thing. That's not nerdy anymore, I don't think. And then I think riding a unicycle and juggling are more like hobbies.
Fun fact, I knew a guy that I think when he was like 11 or 12 was the American youth champion unicycler.
Mm-hmm.
But
weird.
he almost went to compete at the world competition, but it was really expensive to go, so his family didn't go.
Best in the world doesn't go too much money.
Yeah. He has a really nice paying job now and is really good at math. Be good at math, kids.
Be good at math. All right, and then the last one I said is Discworld. Have you ever heard of this?
It's a fantasy book series.
Discworld is a comic fantasy book series written by English author Terry Pratchett, set on Discworld, a flat planet balanced on the backs of 4 elephants, which in turn stand on the backs of a giant
sea turtles that ride through space. I haven't read any of it. I know it's pretty popular. I actually just did a mini D&D campaign set in a world inspired by this.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'd give that as nerdy. Fair enough.
I mean, it's a pretty nerdy series.
I mean, 4 elephants standing on the back of a giant sea turtle. That's pretty out there if you're gonna write a fantasy thing on that.
It was meant to be a fucking joke, and then when the whole flat earther thing started coming up, it started getting put everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what flat earthers actually believe.
You can go all the way up to anime.
Take it all the way up.
to anime. Yeah.
All right. So next we're gonna have rollerblading, Settlers of Catan, coding, playing in a ska band, and quoting Monty Python, comedic collecting, and watching anime.
Wait, what?
You said take all the way up to anime.
Oh, so comic collecting has in the refresh from you to me has gone down too.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna refresh it then. I have it as 38 on mine.
I have it as 37.
Oh, well.
Interesting. That's fine.
There we go.
I think rollerblading and Settlers of Catan. What is going on? Why are they?
Rollerblading is for fucking dorks, and that's all I'm gonna say on the matter.
But Settlers of Catan is like everybody plays that. That's like one of the best-selling games.
Settlers of Catan is not for dorks. Rollerblading, full on dorks.
At this point in the Earth's history, coding is more a career path.
It's definitely a career path, and
be good at math.
Definitely part of be good at math. Also, you could argue making any sort of web page is coding, and it's really not hard to do. I mean, if you want to do it right, it's gonna take a lot of time, but
yeah.
Man, we're really saying a lot of shit doesn't belong on here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a lot of shit belongs. I mean, we're coming up to stuff that's clearly should be on here.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the 40s, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Ska band. What? This could be any type of
Excuse
band.
me. If you did not play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and listen to Superman by Goldfinger going down the ramp at the beginning of the warehouse level, go fuck yourself.
Oh, no, of course. Everybody
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that to anyone who put this on this fucking list.
Yeah.
Ska is love. Ska is life. Somebody get me a
quoting Monty Python. People quote movies all the time now. Like one of the guys I work with, all he does is quote different movies.
I mean, that's a lot of the humor in my family. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I get it. Monty Python's not a current thing, but like, it's still good.
Yeah. Watching anime and comic collecting, I will say that doing those in itself isn't nerdy, but forgive me, anybody who's watching it. The people who do usually go way too hard and make it nerdy.
Well, I've known some. Well, we've both known some weebs in our time, weeaboos, and I've known a very hardcore weeaboo, to the point where they are offended by the word weeaboo. Which, if you're offended by the word weeaboo, maybe go take a shower.
It's just one of those things. Maybe it'll wash the weeaboo away.
Maybe. Because, like, this person was just not self-aware, very rarely bathed, and was just kind of insufferable. Like, I watch anime, I get it, but, like, take it down, like, 20%.
I understand. Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, I think because of the movies that have come out for comics, they're cooler. But if you're collecting comics, it's kind of the same situation.
Yeah. Well, a couple of years ago, we were cleaning out our garage back when I lived with my parents, and my dad found his old comic book collection, and he's really upset with himself because he had a shitload of comics, but like when you went to like resubscribe, you had to like tear off the cover and send it in.
Oh,
yeah. I looked through there and was like researching stuff of the stuff he still had the covers for. One of them was worth like almost $400, but it's in such shitty condition that like there's no way he could sell it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Like he had some fucking valuable ones in there.
Yeah. Well, it's always that toss-up, right, of whether or not you want to save it or...
Well, I mean, he was like 10 or 12 back then, so he didn't know any better. He didn't know it was going to blow up like it did.
True. All right, I'm going to go through this next little part of the list that I don't know many of these, so I'm going to need help. Be cool. Do you know what that is?
Hold on, being cool.
It's not being. It's just be cool.
Oh, be cool. No, I have no idea what that is.
So as Hyde
It's
looks
a
it up,
2005 American comedy film adapted from Elmore Leonard's novel, 1999. I have no idea what this is.
see, I would consider both of us fairly nerdy, and if we don't know what that is, why is it on the list? Or maybe we're not nerdy at all.
Maybe we're actually normal. Well,
Maybe.
it's got produced by Danny DeVito,
Damn.
so that's cool. Starring John Travolta, which I mean, I have no idea what this is. I don't know why it's on the list. Look, is that the Rock in the back with the baseball bat?
I don't. Maybe, I'm not sure. Conspiracy theories, they're not nerdy. That at this point we live in a world of conspiracy theories.
Oh, I mean, it depends on the conspiracy theory and depends on how hard someone's going on that theory.
True. Star Trek, I'm just gonna say it is. At this point, most of the people that are watching it from the discussion we had 2 weeks ago, clearly it is very nerdy.
Yes. Again, there's a lot of good shit in there. There's also a lot of really dumb shit in there.
Yeah.
So, I'd still recommend watching a little bit of it.
I just don't know if I can get into it. DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, that was a cultural revolution at that time.
A dancing revolution, some might say.
Some would say. Being a brown coat? What is that?
That's those are fans of that show Firefly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, the fact that it's referenced as being a brown coat and not just fans of Firefly, nerdy.
Yeah. Like, a lot of fandoms have names for members of the fandom. Like, Doctor Who's are Whovians, brown coats are for Firefly, shit like that.
True. But I mean, like, even on this list,
it's just straight
Sherlock.
up Dana Brown.
Yeah. And then the last one I'm going to do is self-referencing as nerdy. I don't think people do this anymore.
I mean, no one we know personally
does this.
I mean,
we're on the internet a lot. Have you seen anybody say stuff like this? Like, I'm nerdy?
Didn't you just say earlier on that we're pretty nerdy?
Yeah, but that's in reference to actually, like, talking about this. Not, like, in a conversation. Maybe
I mean, I don't know if anyone
maybe you got me there.
Doing it recently, but I also, don't talk to a lot of the same kind of people I used to, so...
Fair enough.
Right. So next is Tevas, which I don't know what that is.
That's like a color thing.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just
then after that we have Playing Pokemon, which in the picture looks like a card game, not, the video game. Which I've only played the card game once in the past 20 years, and that was at college against someone in our dorm.
Yeah. I'd say that based off of a lot of the videos that I've watched, it's pretty nerdy.
Yeah. Then there's or do you have something else to add to that?
No, keep going.
All right. Next is Birkenstocks, which looks like a form of sandals.
Yeah.
Which sandals are for dorks. I'm just gonna say it.
Like, what about flip-flops?
I mean, I guess flip-flops are fine, but full-on sandals.
I can understand.
I have nothing to add to this, really. I just don't care.
Fair.
But after that, we have the Got Talent series of television shows. Oh,
those
Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I just looked up 2 more spots.
My page is freaking out, so...
Okay. I'll talk about it when we get to number 24.
Okay. You're gonna have to keep going.
All right. Well, after that is jean shorts.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Jorts. I love jorts. I'll admit it. Jorts are great.
My mom tried to buy me a pair once. I told her no multiple times. She's like, "Come on, jean shorts are fine." I was like, "No, they are not. Don't you dare fucking buy them for me. I will not wear them."
I see number 24. And
you know what I'm talking about.
For the viewers, click back to the YouTube page because we will snip a photo.
I will put the picture I know where to get this picture. Actually, it's
The
from
worst
an episode
case of blackface I've seen in a while.
It's from an episode of Community where they play Dungeons and Dragons. By the way,
Ooh.
number 24 is Dungeons and Dragons.
Which is nerdy. It is nerdy.
It's really nerdy, but thanks to things like Critical Role, it's starting to become cool.
Yeah.
And other D&D podcasts such as the C Team and Dungeons and Daddies.
Dungeons and Daddies.
That's a real D&D podcast.
Oh,
I haven't listened to it, but I've seen comments on that group's YouTube channel, Rocket Jump, saying that they felt tricked because they thought they're going into a BDSM podcast and ended up listening to Dungeons and Dragons.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all the way up to 18.
That, real quick, that blackface is almost as bad as Justin Trudeau.
Maybe it
Justin
is.
Trudeau's blackface is pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. All right. 23 is Magic the Gathering, which I don't personally think is nerdy, just because it can be.
I mean,
I know I agree that it can be, but the reason. Continue.
Well,
Sorry, continue.
Real quick, my whole thing is most of the collecting card game things are a bit nerdy in my opinion. Like all of them. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is still on this list.
Oh, it's further up.
Yeah, I think it's just the genre in general. It's a pretty nerdy rap.
Fair enough. But okay, so like I'm going to go all the way up to 18 and I'm going to combine a couple as we go up and I'm just going to go off. So basically 22 and 20 on mine are Ewoks and collecting action figures, but it's the Ewok from the action figure collection, and I'm combining them together.
It's an Ewok action figure, that is correct.
Yeah, so like the reality is if you collect action figures, it's very nerdy. 2, the 21, Rubik's Cube themed stuff. The fact that I enjoy looking for like dumb things like that, not Rubik's Cube, but like dumb collectible things, and I don't even know about Rubik's Cube, nerdy. It's nerdy. Like if you're buying Rubik's Cube themed stuff, Jesus Christ. And then not only playing MMO games, but role-playing MMO on the MMO servers.
They definitely should have just put RP servers.
Yeah.
Because, oof.
That's real nerdy. And then
I mentioned a YouTube channel earlier called Node, where they went to go play this like wolf game that they found that was really bad, and they just joined a random server. It turns out it was a roleplay server, so they just spent the whole time just fucking around, and it was just fucking with these role players.
That's the best part of those servers, that they take it too serious and then you fuck with them. And then so the last one I have, which is in the same realms kind of, which is creating maps of fictional places. I understand why it's on here, and I agree that it is fairly nerdy, especially making the maps on, like in this picture on the Starbucks cup. Hyde, you can do all the way up to 13, and all I want to say is before he starts, the ones that I just said, in my mind, are infinitely more nerdy than what he's about to say.
Hold on, real quick. I want to look at the picture of... It's not letting me look at the picture of the map on the cup. God damn it. Okay, well, I'm just going to skip it and come back to it. Next one is Survivor.
Which I don't understand that.
I mean, it's just reality TV, and people are obsessed with reality TV. I know some people at work currently that are watching it, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But next is writing ridiculous lists, just like this one.
Right, yeah. It's self-aware.
After that is EverQuest, which was a very popular MMO back in the day. I never played it.
Same.
So we're going to skip that. It's because we have no frame of reference. Next is RuneScape.
I never got into it enough for it to be considered nerdy.
I mean, I never had membership, but I did play it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on my phone for mobile. I play it every now and then, just to be bored. One time work was really slow, so I literally just sat at work playing RuneScape. I made like 20 grand or 20k gold in like, I don't know, half hour of not doing my job.
That's pretty funny.
On how high was I taking this again?
To the next one.
All right, and then next is puppetry.
Which,
for puppets.
for puppets, which I think is funny because I used to do puppets when I was in middle school and high school. I was like on a team that toured the state I lived in and like won a bunch of competitions.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say it's nerdy because I know all the stuff that goes into it, but I understand why you would say it's nerdy.
I mean, you're also in middle school. It would be very weird for me, or in my opinion, for an adult to be doing it.
True. But at the same I agree. I can understand how it goes either way. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I will go up
take
to
it away.
7. Yeah. And there's a couple in here that are interesting. Spelling bees, I disagree. That's just a thing that you should be good at, and we shouldn't make.
Well, have like those big competitive spelling bees though are quite the thing, and I really wonder if those kids actually give a shit about it.
True, or
if it's just their parents giving a shit about it.
Yeah. Number 11, Big Brother. So I mean, I guess we need to define what we think of nerdy before we do one of these lists or any type of thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because
well, it's like a lot of these are just added by readers. It looks like.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, again, it's just reality TV, so
yeah.
People like reality TV.
Yep. I mean, people think it's nerdy. Apparently.
Apparently.
10. Well, that's the thing I don't understand is like we haven't come up to it yet, but why isn't The Bachelor or The Bachelorette not on here? Like that's just as intense. So 10, writing fan fiction. Yes. If you're that into something where you write fan fiction about it, you're nerdy. 9.
Well, have you ever read a fan fiction?
Oh yeah. And not only that, but the internet historian has read them in his voice.
Oh, right, yeah.
About Sonic.
God, I love the fucking internet historian fan fiction readings, especially his 3-part series of My Immortal.
Oh my god.
The emo vampire Harry Potter fan fiction.
Now, mind you, these are nerdy, but I would pay money to have people still write these things because they make life through certain comedians that know how to read them the correct way better. Because when these people who find this fan fiction and then tell you the story in the most ridiculous way possible, it makes your night. It makes your night. And one of my favorite fan fictions that I've ever had, that I've listened to, is there's a streamer on Twitch called Witwix, and if anybody who's listening to this doesn't know of him, go watch him. He is friends with the guy who created Minecraft. Who's that guy's name? Notch, yes. And there was a stream where he read some not safe for work fan fiction to Notch. And he had Notch voice himself. I think he got a warning from Twitch because of it, because it was very graphic, but it was so funny.
There's a group on YouTube, Funhouse. They had some fans write fan fictions that they voice, some mostly based off some voices they did. Like one of them has an impression of Ygritte from Game of Thrones, and it was just essentially Game of Thrones fan fiction that suddenly had Master Chief in it.
Jesus,
but it's like, oh, Jon Snow, and just it's pretty fucking funny.
9, claiming things are not cool.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not nerdy, in my opinion.
That's not very cash money of you, Ranker.com.
And the last one that I will do is very nerdy. Hentai.
Anita!
That's literally as nerdy as you can get. Like, the epitome of too far. All right.
Well, I'm very disappointed in the picture that it has for it on here because it's not a picture of a tentacle.
Right. Yeah. All right.
All right,
Go up to 4, and then we'll go back and forth.
up to 4.
Yeah.
So number 7 is pocket protectors,
Is that
which
really nerdy? I think a thing
I
of the
mean,
past.
some places still use it, but like, I mean, it's really kind of important if you're going to be carrying around pens because I've definitely seen people just have a pen just out when they put it into their shirt pocket and it just dumps ink everywhere.
Yeah.
So after that, we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game.
So we've already discussed our feelings on what we think of nerdiness in card games. Do you think that this is
Well,
deserves this much higher of a rank compared to Magic or Pokemon?
well, the main issue is the anime.
Dude, the anime was so good though. I don't even care. It's so good.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, why isn't DBZ on here?
You know, that's a good point. Why isn't DBZ on here?
It's pretty fucking nerdy. That's what I'm saying. Like, they've got pocket protectors, but they don't have DBZ, which, like, any ramen place you go to ever has those characters there.
But I actually work with a girl right now who used to date a Yu-Gi-Oh player, like an adult Yu-Gi-Oh player. That's one of her biggest regrets.
There's so much stuff I want to say that I'm going to say on a podcast. It's time! Pants come off.
And then the next one is fanny packs.
Which is not nerdy. This is... I have that exact fanny pack, by the way. I got it for our White Elephant Christmas gift. Like, legit.
Okay, that sounds like a joke present.
It is.
You specifically have the Dare one?
Oh, yeah. When I'll send you a photo of it. I have the legit Dare. Yeah, it's and then the part that was hilarious about it is the gift came with shooters in it. But fanny packs are like super popular right now.
I have yet to see someone wearing it in modern day.
So they're still fanny packs, but kids are wearing them like kind of like a you would like across your shoulder down to your hip. They're wearing them that way. It's so stupid, but
Isn't that just like a bag?
Yeah, but they're fanny packs that they have.
So they're just wearing a fanny pack as if it was a bag.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, that is dumb. Just get an actual fucking bag.
Yeah,
it's got a lot more storage space.
Yeah,
and probably a much more comfortable strap.
Yeah. On to 4.
Yep.
Which is My Little Pony.
That's pretty nerdy.
It's pretty nerdy. There's nothing we really
need,
especially with that photo, we don't need to say anything.
Yeah, that photo literally says it all.
You're for 3.
Number 3, we have LARPing. Which, I mean...
To me, it depends on how far you take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, going through this list, we're definitely, like, being real soft on a lot of these.
Yeah.
Or we just think a lot of this shit isn't that nerdy.
True. Number 2 is... We'll just... Number 2 is the epitome of disgusting, takes it too far, nerd. Furry conventions.
So, someone I work with who may or may not be the one who dated a Yu-Gi-Oh player. She's not a furry. But her dream in life is to be the next Jerry Springer.
Oh, God.
So I made the joke of, hey, let's go to a convention, see if we can't make our way into a furry orgy and just do interviews mid-orgy.
They would, too.
I think they would. But, like, just imagine it. We're sitting down, we're having an interview with someone, and just in the background, they're just going to town.
Oh, my God.
I think that'd make us legendary. And there's a convention coming up that we were talking about going to see if this is going to happen, but I don't know. I'm starting to get cold feet on the matter. She was getting cold feet at first, was like, no, this would be hilarious. And then she's like, no, I think this would be fun. I was like, nah, I'm currently the one getting cold feet on the matter.
Hey, man, you only live once.
I'm not going to a fucking furry orgy. Can you imagine how many fucking diseases there are?
All of them, literally all of them. It's, I personally think that one should have been number one.
Yeah, well, let's move on to actual number one. Speaking Klingon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, that's pretty nerdy.
Yeah.
It's like a melodramatic number one, because people make up languages all the time, and
yeah,
they're not nerdy, it's just stupid.
I don't know, going through this list, there's like not that much I'd really roast on here, aside from the fucking furry convention.
Yeah, and I mean, but we've had like good experiences with LARPing. Like,
yeah,
like there's not too much on here that's like too crazy intense. I think the thing that we can take away from it is the world is taking nerdy things to, like, it's bringing it to the forefront and making it cool.
Either all these nerdy things are actually cool, or we're just so far down the nerd rabbit hole that these things seem normal to us.
God, I hope that is not the case. So much.
We all hope that's not the case.
Yeah. Well, this has been a weird podcast. We just went through 60 nerdy things, and we only found like 4 that were in either of our opinions fairly nerdy. So, this upcoming week we'll try to find a more debatable topic for us instead of just doing lists. But we thought this would be pretty cool.
So far, we've had 75% of these fucking episodes be lists.
Hey man, we're just starting. It's all good.
Yeah. Everybody. Well, at least last episode we had an actual draft in the 5th draft.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right, man. Well, you want to sign us out like you always do?
Sure. As soon as I, come up with an actual fucking sign off. But this has been the 5th draft. I'm Hyde.
And I'm Colton.
And we'll catch you next time.
All right.